in the 12 step, you stand up and you say, you haven't touched a drop of alcohol for 30 years. But you stand up and say, my name is Gabor and I'm an
addict.
I'm an addict, I'm an alcoholic. Well, because you're not an addict. That's not who you are. The addiction is just the behavior that you adopted in order to soothe yourself for pain that you had no responsibility for causing in the first place. In fact, if we didn't use the word addict, if we just made the word addict illegal, and every time somebody said addict, they'd have to say, so-and-so is a human being who suffered so much that they found in that behavior some release from unbearable suffering. What if we had to say that every time? Wouldn't that change the conversation on addiction in this country? You know? But what was the question?
The question was about identity.
Identity. Yeah, so the 12 steps do reinforce it. And the 12 steps also very much buy into these, I shouldn't say the 12 steps, but the 12-step movement buys very much into this brain disease addiction, model of addiction. Bill W., interestingly enough, Bill W., who founded AA, was actually a traumatized child. But you can go for AA, abandoned by his parents when he was 10. But you can go AA for 30 years and never hear about childhood trauma. Having said that, the 12 steps themselves, I think, are brilliant. The 12 steps are actually great. First of all, you acknowledge that you have been powerless. Well, it's true. When I was in my own addictive behaviors, and I talk about that in my book, I was powerless. All my intellect, my degrees, my strategies, my intentions made no difference whatsoever. And it wasn't even substances. It was shopping for classical compact discs. But I literally couldn't stop myself. I once left a woman in labor to get a symphony. The great Dr. Mate, friend of women. Women would come to me because I would support them delivering naturally. But when it came to my addiction, I was powerless. So acknowledging my powerlessness is actually a way of gaining power. And then, the higher power, well, you can think of that as God, if you want to use that phrase, but
or consciousness.
Consciousness, awareness, the true self that you found. Yeah, you connect with that, you give it over to it. And acknowledging, the moral inventory, acknowledging that, I hurt my kids because I ignored them for my addiction. And the wife to whom I lied all those years. Have you been shopping again? Oh, who, me? And I'd smuggle, and then I'd hide the CDs on the porch and smuggle them in the house when she was asleep. Which didn't do much for our relationship. So she'd be colder towards me, which made me more unhappy and made me use more. When I say use more, buy more.
It's like a vicious circle?
It's a totally vicious cycle. So acknowledging that and making amends where it's appropriate, these are essential things. So I love the 12 steps. I have certain problems with the 12-step movement.
Okay.